Our next guest says Holy Week is a great time to begin a journey closer to sainthood, and anyone can do it.
Okay, here's the gut check right here, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Do you want to be holy? And do you want to be an instrument of renewal in this world? And if so, do you believe it's possible?
Father Mark Mary Ames of the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal has written a new book outlining the small steps the faithful can take to find great holiness. Now, the book is based on 800 years of Franciscan teaching started by its founder, St. Francis of Assisi. And Father Mark Mary Ames joins us now. He's the Director of Communications for the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal and author of the book, Habits for Holiness, Small Steps for Making Big Spiritual Progress. Father, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be with you.
Well, I tell you, we all want to be better in life, but what are some practical ways like the layperson like myself can strive to be holier?
That's a great question, and that is the question that the book is trying to answer. And really, I think the foundational principle we want to look at is intentional living. And habits for holiness, like you mentioned, it does steal from or build upon 800 years of Franciscan tradition, but also just centuries of the tradition of the faithful, of following Jesus, but doing it intentionally. So, for example, sort of having a prayer plan, having a plan of life for our community when we get together, celebrating Sundays well as a family, living simplicity, working with the poor. All of these habits, these components of the Christian life are going to bear fruit in holiness.
Interesting. And you also talked about family there and talked to me about the importance of family in order to pursue holiness.
100%. Yeah, beautiful. And this is certainly at the heart of the Franciscan charism, right? Saint Francis started following Jesus, and then the Lord sent him brothers, and it was a communal journey. And I like to say that discipleship is a team sport, and that certainly can be within a religious community, within a group at your parish, but the group par excellence who we're journeying with is certainly our family. And so if we as a family can pray together, can share life together, in the midst of this communion, the Lord has great capacity. I think the best soil for receiving and responding to the gospel is the context of family.
And the one thing I like, you mentioned in the book, I mean, we don't think about this, but exercise, proper rest, even healthy eating, good, clean fun are important values to the marathon in life. Can you expand on that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we can speak of this as Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, because I don't think anyone's going to downplay our commitment to the gospel. But we talk about this particularly in our own section of our constitutions about chastity, the importance of exercise, of healthy living. Life is difficult and there's a lot of stresses. And in the book we talk about having everyone's going to have baggage, but you want to get it down to a carry-on. And the more effort we spend just being tired or beat up or from a poor diet, things like this, they're going to bear fruit in our relationships and in our relationship with the Lord. And so a healthy rhythm, good sleep if we can get it, good exercise is a great sort of natural penance way to practice discipline. All of this can help support the natural foundation on which grace can build.
And I understand that you're using this even in your own life. And how have these habits helped you, especially in your work with the disadvantaged in the South Bronx area of New York? That's got to be tough.
It is tough work, but it's also corresponds to the deepest desire of my heart. And so where there is love and there is grace, there's also levity. Habits for holiness, it does pull from really our Franciscan way of life and many of our pillars. And part of why I think this is important and fruitful for the laity is, for 800 years, Franciscans have been following Jesus in the midst of a beat up and broken world. And I think many of us look around and do feel like, the world's pretty beat up and we can be kind of tempted to discouragement. But, we've been doing it. If you pray, you live community, you allow the liturgy to inform your life, the beauty of that and the health of that is going to overflow into your community. And for us, in a special way, that's our work with the poor, the homeless, those on the street.
And what advice would you have for our viewers during Holy Week?
Oh, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. I'm seeing like celebration as the work of receiving the gift. But receiving the gift, it takes some work. And so creating space, praying with the scriptures, praying with the liturgy. I think doing the Stations of the Cross on Good Friday, maintaining a little bit more silence on Holy Saturday, and then celebrating all 8 days of the resurrection, the Easter octave, are all really beautiful ways for us to receive the gift of these holy days.
I tell you what, you just pump me up spiritually right now. And I tell you, how can the audience get your book? Where do they go?
The best place to go would be ascensionpress.com/holiness.
All right. Well, Father Mark Mary Ames, Director of Communications for the Franciscan Friars of Renewal, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.